Welcome back, everybody, to Chicago College Scouts. Today is May 7th. As of this morning, George Pickens is a Dallas Cowboy. We kind of talked about it offline. Very Jerry Jones move. I think the Steelers actually got pretty good value for Pickens. I mean, it's crazy to me that I was looking at all the trades they made for wide receivers that had a deal coming up, and it's still crazy to me that they got the most out of Chase Claypool. Still hurts, but
Yeah, definitely a very Cowboys move, very Jerry Jones move. I guess I get it for Pittsburgh because they probably weren't gonna extend him, but I don't know. I thought that DK and Pickens was gonna be a pretty good room for them, and now it's like more of a question mark. They don't have a QB either. I think it's a good fit for Pickens though. Like I don't know if Dallas will keep him long term, but next to CeeDee Lamb, like with a good quarterback throwing the ball, like I think I'll have some success there.
yeah, seems so
Dallas
good.
is kind of like, besides Pittsburgh, it's like the spot to go for like a head case player to have
Yeah.
success.
Seen a lot of great memes where it's like George Pickens 30 yards down the field when Dak's not throwing him the ball, and it's just fucking giving someone the people's elbow. It's funny. But I saw a report saying that Tomlin, I mean, not a big surprise. Tomlin was like the key enforcer behind pushing this trade through, which to me makes sense. He seems like he's kind of sick of dealing with George Pickens on the sidelines this past few years. I don't think you ever really want it, especially when it comes to wide receivers. I feel like every time the Steelers give a wide receiver, it's usually doesn't end well at the next destination. Obviously, I know all too well with Chase Claypool.
It was a great trade. Pick 33 for fucking
32.
games that Chase
There's
played.
the first round
Eight.
pick, pretty
Yeah,
much.
Miami didn't have theirs or whatever.
Yeah, man, that sucks.
Eight mediocre Claypool games. Real steamer from Ryan Poles.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest red stains on his resume. But yeah, so I don't know. I know it was a third round. There's some pick swaps in
Yeah,
there.
it's a third round pick and then a fifth for a sixth next year.
Yeah, I mean third round pick is not bad.
Decent trade, kind of interesting, but I don't know. Not gonna shake the NFL world up too much there.
Yeah. Um. So just kind of building off that, just kind of want to talk about with the offseason kind of winding down. Maybe there will be a few smaller moves coming about. Just kind of wanted to discuss some of the teams that have improved the most this offseason. The top team in my mind, I think the Patriots. Obviously, I think last week we talked about their draft. We broke it down. I think they made some nice moves in the draft. I like the Milton Williams signing, even though I do think they overpaid for him, but I think they made some nice moves. I think they're definitely not going to be the bottom feeder of the AFC East anymore. I think they're definitely going to be, I mean, I don't think they're going to be competing to win that division yet, but they're definitely on their way. That's one team that really sticks out to me.
Yeah, I really liked what the Patriots did. They were one of my favorite drafts for sure. I feel like in terms of just like pure talent added, especially to their team that didn't have much, like they're definitely up there. I thought they did a lot to help out Drake May, which is very good because we see a lot of teams kind of go about that process the wrong way and then cycling QBs in and out.
Mhm.
I think an interesting one for me though is Arizona kind of sticking with the similar thing in a different way. Like they have a defensive coach, veteran QB now in Kyler, so they're kind of building around what their coach wants to do. They brought in like two full defensive lines, Will Johnson at corner. I really like what they did on defense. I thought Jonathan Cannon got a lot out of like mediocre players last year. So
Mhm.
with like 5, 6 starting caliber guys coming in there, I think like they might be a team that goes, to the playoffs this year, makes a big jump because that defense is going to be really good.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I like the move they made in the draft. I like picking up the defense. Jonathan Gannon, obviously, pretty solid defensive mind, honestly. I think they're a sleeper to win that division. I think it's always
Yeah, I
wide
agree.
open. I kind of thought the same thing last year, and it didn't work out. But obviously, like San Francisco's not the like NFC powerhouse that they used to be. The Rams are obviously going to be competing there, but I can definitely see them competing for that division. Strong
Yeah,
offseason for
I
sure.
agree. I think that one's like wide open. I could see any of the four teams winning. Like going to my head, I'd probably pick the Rams, but like if you told me any of them won it at like 11 wins or 10 wins, like I'd be like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and then one more for me. I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to sound like too much of a homer, but we are the three-time off-season champs now. So for forcing my hand. The Bears, I think, had pretty solid offseason. Obviously, addressed the offensive line with Joe Tooney, Jonah Jackson, Drew Dahlman. I really like the Grady Jarrett pickup, and I thought they gave Caleb Williams pretty much no excuses. I think the only excuse on the offensive line you could like maybe like conjure up would be if Braxton Jones isn't healthy slash good this year, but they did draft Trapio, who could potentially slide over there. But yeah, I mean, I think the defensive line might be an issue still. I think there's some question marks there, but obviously adding Grady Jarrett's going to help. He's not going to play his every down because he's getting up there. He's on the wrong side of 30 at this point, but I like bringing in Dennis Allen to be the DC. Obviously you got the one of, if not the top head coaching candidate this cycle, the past two cycles pretty much, Ben Johnson. Caleb Williams really has no excuses not to have a good season and be the Bears' first 4,000-yard passer, in my opinion.
Yeah, I could see the argument for the Bears. I think it's again like it's kind of like a fit thing. Like I think they did a lot of stuff to make it so Ben Johnson can get done what he needs to get done and like have his impact. And I think that's what's like gonna carry them from 5 wins to being like a playoff team anyway. So I do think the Bears will be really improved. I'm just not sure like that if the roster as a whole is like very improved. Like I think on offense it's gonna work a lot better, and obviously they got two great new weapons, good pieces on the O line. I think the defense has holes, but I don't think that's necessarily going to hold them back because like I feel like the foundation of the team's kind of the offense at this point with Ben Johnson coming in.
Mhm.
But I also don't think the defense is going to be like bad either.
Yeah, I think defense you'll probably see like anywhere in that like 8 to like 14 range as a defensive ranking. Obviously, I think the defensive backfield's up there in the league. I mean, Jalen Johnson's probably top 3 corner in the league. Has an argument to be the best corner in the league.
I think Jalen Johnson and Gordon are really good, but I think like the other three guys that you'd like count on there are just like kind of okay.
Yeah, I'm hoping Al Harris can get the most out of Tyreek Stevenson. I think he's a very talented.
Stevenson's fun. He's just like I don't know. He's like one of those Cowboys like type of corners. Like it's just like he's gonna have a huge year or he's gonna be fucking awful.
Uh, I mean, I guess it makes sense. Al Harris came from Dallas now. He's
Yeah, there you go.
But yeah, I'd say the Bears are up there for sure. I think my two favorite off seasons are probably the Pats and the Bears, especially getting the two top head coaching candidates in the cycle.
Yeah, and then my final one I'd go with. I just want to shout out the Commanders. Like I don't think again like the whole team as a whole is improved. I thought they kind of botched on the defense, like letting those D tackles go. Um, but what they did on offense, like they made the fucking NFC Championship with, like a terrible offensive line. Then you go out, you trade scraps for Laramie Tunsil, who's like a top 5 tackle, and then you get Josh Connerly at 29 or whatever. Like, I think like you go to the NFC Championship, you had 2 franchise tackles, and whatever Debo Samuel is these days, like that's a win for me. I just had to shout that one out.
Yeah, I think bringing back Ertz and Bobby Wagner also very big for locker room vibes. I think those two are.
And honestly, they got a lot out of them last year. Like Bobby Wagner kind of sucked when he was on the Rams and when he went back to Seattle last year. Decent player. Zach Ertz like played a role for them.
Yeah,
Ended up being the starter even though they took Ben Sinnott in the second round. So yeah, like
curious to see how
definitely good
Debo
move.
plays there as well. How he fits in that offense. I think Kingsbury will get something out of him at least. Hopefully, he doesn't show up fat as shit,
Yeah,
but he'll be interesting in that. I think they could have gone away with taking a receiver, but I mean they didn't have as many picks. They were kind of lacking in picks this year, but yeah, like you mentioned, letting like Jonathan Allen go and then signing Javon Kinlaw to a pretty sizable contract was interesting, but
yeah, like that part's questionable as fuck. But what they did on offense, I really like it. I thought they insulated Daniels very well.
I agree. Especially solidifying that offensive line. I really liked Connerly and obviously Laramie Tunsil is Laramie Tunsil. So yeah, so that's a little brief NFL talk for you guys. Just wanted to close it out because, pretty slow in the sports season. And the draft just happened. It's almost like 2 weeks at this point. It's crazy. But yeah, so we're going to move to some NBA talk. We're going to break down the first round and then kind of give our thoughts on how the second round's going and as well as predictions for the rest of the way. So in the West, first round, I think it was pretty much how I expected it to go down. I thought the Rockets would put up a better fight against Golden State. That was kind of disappointing to see. Jalen Green was pretty terrible. I thought the Timberwolves would win. I thought the Lakers obviously would put on somewhat of a larger fight. That was pretty. I mean, but Luca can't play defense. LeBron looked like he was a 40-year-old, and Anthony Edwards is really good at basketball. Denver,
Yeah, I think for me, I kind of had the opposite take. Like I thought the Lakers were gonna win. It was definitely like a homer take, but that series was horrible. I like Minnesota to win it now. I think like they just kind of stack up really nicely against everybody in the West.
they looked bad last night.
I don't know. I don't know if they could beat Boston. I don't know if anybody could really beat Boston, but I think I'd pick Minnesota to come out of the West at this point. And as far as the Rockets, like I kind of expected the Rockets to lose, but I thought it was really interesting how they like played Steven Adams like 30 minutes a game, brought
Mm,
back like the dual big kind of thing, and had a lot of success with it. I think that would be really interesting, like because obviously Minnesota is playing Golden State now, so and like you said, they look like shit in game one, but like you'd think that if Houston can have success with fucking Sengun and Steven Adams, like Minnesota's gonna cook with Naz Reid and Gobert and Julius Randle. Like they just have the size to really dominate Golden State. So
yeah, especially with Steph being out for they said a week. He's probably gonna miss.
that's out. He's not even gonna play.
Yeah, he's out for a week. He's
Yeah, that
probably done
that
for like
series is over then.
shit. Buddy Hield then. Buddy Hield's been playing well. I don't know.
The fourth splash, bro, after DeMarcus Cousins.
Oh my God. But like I want to shout out Draymond because I thought he played insanely well last night. He had like five threes and he looked like prime Draymond. He was
When
playing.
Draymond starts hitting threes and handling the ball, you know it's
Yeah,
bad news.
yeah. Like he was just driving and dishing to like Kuminga, who's cutting down the lane. And it was crazy to watch. Obviously, when he's on top of his game and not like talking shit to refs, it's really fun to watch. But he hasn't been that way.
Very interesting, like NBA time machine. Put Draymond on like the Sixers in 2014 and just
Yeah,
let him cook as the guy. See
yeah.
what happens. He's either gonna average five, and five on 20%, or he's gonna be like Giannis, but in a fucking very weird body.
Speaking of Giannis, I think Houston should go all out for him.
Yeah, I agree. I think Houston's got the pieces to do it, and like they wouldn't even sweat it. Like you could give up Jabari Smith and Reed Shepard, Cam Whitmore. Like you don't even fucking play those guys. 4 or 5 first round picks.
Yeah, and I think I think they're pretty loaded with first round picks. Honestly,
I think honestly, I'd give up whatever they'd want except
do
for
they
Amen
have the
Thompson.
Clippers
I just
picks,
wouldn't trade Thompson for him.
or is that do the Thunder still have all the Clippers picks, or do the Rockets have some, or did they have Nets picks? Is that who the Rockets have?
Yeah, the Rockets have the Nets picks because they
Okay,
traded the one back.
yeah, so they have some interesting
They
pieces.
probably have no, they probably didn't get shit for Russ because they traded Russ to like Washington. They probably got like a second round pick for him.
Yeah, I don't think so, but yeah, I mean they have some interesting pieces, and they're so deep with young talent that they could be in play for Giannis.
Yeah, I just think don't give up Thompson. Him and Giannis and Thompson, like, dude,
Yeah, that would
you
be
could have Luca and fucking Shea on the same team and like they wouldn't be able to score.
kind of moving to the top half of the bracket now. Nuggets take down the Clippers in seven, which I thought was the most entertaining series of the first round. Obviously, two games went to game seven, or two series went to game sevens. But I thought this was some. I mean, the first six games I thought was some interesting basketball. Like it was like back and forth for a few games, and then there were some games where the Nuggets just blew them out or the Clippers just blew them out. But James Harden, didn't beat the narrative, lost another game
I
seven.
saw a tweet that said James Harden, it's time to start ring chasing, buddy. I mean, he kind of is already like going to the Clippers, but
Yeah,
I think he needs to like seriously pursue like the 6 man role on the fucking Lakers or something. That
yeah,
would be a disaster, actually. I don't know.
probably.
Austin Reeves, Luca, and James Harden. Like
Everyone needs the ball.
Anthony Edwards might score fucking 84 points if they
Yeah.
play him the whole game.
This series was interesting. It kind of just reminded me how good Kawhi is when he's healthy. Because like I thought he was hitting everything, and he was just like real. He was a really impressive watch. Like he was going toe to toe with Jokic in terms of
I
like
feel like I've never forgot how great Kawhi was because 2019 was like the last time I like watched all the fucking playoff games in the
yeah,
NBA.
yeah.
Like that is like my last vivid memory of like loving the NBA. Just Kawhi like beating Michael Jordan for 3 weeks. That shit was insane, bro.
I know he just
Like he
carried them.
turned into the best player in the world. Like he like developed throughout the playoffs. He's just like I'm gonna try this shit now.
Just like charged. Oh yeah. But I mean, OKC sweeps Memphis in four games. Ja didn't play the last two games. Was it two or was it just the last game?
I'm not sure.
But yeah, he got hurt. Was I mean, OKC came back from like down 20. I want to say definitely once, maybe twice in this series, but obviously they sweep them, which was pretty expected at that point, and then they lose game one to Denver. Absolutely choke that game, up like 6, 7 points with 2 minutes left, and then they. I want to get your take on this because the fouling situation that the strategy that they were implementing at the end of the game, very interesting to me. I didn't agree with it, and obviously it cost them, but I don't know if you saw it. Uh,
He fouled them. Did they shoot free throws? I saw it on Twitter, but I didn't see the game.
So they were up like three with 15 seconds left, and Jokic was on the bench. Denver didn't have timeouts, and they just kept fouling them to put him at the line, and then they would go up. They would cut the lead to one, and then they'd go back to the line, and then it'd just be like back and forth. But then they fouled Chet up one. OKC's up one. Chet misses both free throws, so it gave Jokic a chance to get back in the game. And then it ultimately led to Aaron Gordon hitting the three to go up two and win the game with a second left. So it was,
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I didn't. I have to see the clip, but like, I think OKC has a good coach, but like, you're probably
yeah,
doing too much at that point, dude. Like,
yeah, it's because he's like one of those analytical nerds, and like I understand, I like don't like the foul up three as like a viewer. I understand it as like from a,
I think there's a time and place, right? Like, if you're under 10 seconds and like they're just ISOing at the top of the key, like, why let them take the shot? Just wrap them up. But
yeah,
like, if you're gonna put them on the line 4 times and just like say you're gonna win a free throw battle and hope nothing bad happens, like, I
yeah,
don't get the strategy there. I
yeah. It
feel like you're
was
putting too many variables out there. Like, would you rather have to stop 1 3 from happening or like have all those free throws go up, have to get a rebound, have to play defense? Like, I don't know. It's
yeah.
just there's a lot going on at that point.
I get. I
But I
I'm
have to
kind
see
of in
it.
the same viewpoint as you. They play tonight though. They're playing in a few hours. I'll be interested because I mean I didn't think Denver looked good in game one. They look really exhausted, and obviously Michael Porter Jr. is like a key player for them. Is playing on one shoulder, and they don't have a lot of depth. So I was shocked they came back and won that game. I do think OKC's probably going to win this series. Maybe I think it's going to be a longer series than I expect. I do have a future on the Nuggets to win the West, so I'm hoping they're able to pull this out.
Yeah, I'm definitely rooting for the Nuggets. Like I kind of just picked these series on who I want to win anyway, so I'm just gonna
Yeah.
go with them. Logically, OKC should win, but like I don't know. I just think they're kind of a soft team and they don't have like a secondary scorer that they really need in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean they're
I don't want
always
to have too hot of a take on them and like say that they're like the 2015 fucking Hawks or something, but
yeah, they
I
might
don't
flip
think they're
that.
built to win in the playoffs. I think they have a great defense, but like you need a secondary scorer that could
Yeah,
like get hot. I don't think Jalen Williams is that guy.
I agree. And I think like as long as one of Gordon or Murray just has like a solid like a pretty good game, like Jokic is no one's guarding Jokic on that team, so like as long
Right.
as one of the role players on the Nuggets has a good game, they'll be competing throughout the
Yeah,
four
like
quarters.
I
So
look at Denver, it's like you got Jokic, you got Jamal Murray, like Michael Porter Jr. is shooken up, but he could still shoot the fucking lights out. Aaron Gordon has become a great player for them. Like
Christian
OKC, it's
Brown's
like
been good,
you
yeah,
got Shea and you got Jalen Williams, who like I don't think he's that great of a scorer in the playoffs.
yeah,
And then like again, like look around the league too, like Golden State, they got Steph, Buddy Hield, Jimmy Butler, like Draymond's cooking on offense. Minnesota, like Minnesota's got guys. Like I'd rather have fucking Dante DiVincenzo as like my secondary scorer than Jalen Williams. Like he's
yeah,
not close to as good of a player, but like putting the ball in the basket, like I think OKC's got big problems there.
yeah. So I'm gonna say Denver pulled this out somehow because Jokic is just that good. Down below, I think I said the Steph injury really affects it, but like,
Is this a shit take? Is OKC just like the best possible version of the Cavs?
yeah, no, they're pretty similar. It's not
Like they
like
got the
that.
two great bigs, they got the great defense, they got the great lead scorer, but like they don't got that second guy. Like it's
I think
I think
that
OKC's way deeper and like way more talented, but yeah, I think it's a fair comp.
yeah, like they're like the better Cavs. Because
Yeah.
like I would rather have Jalen Williams over like Garland, and I'd probably rather have Shea. Yeah, so, yeah. I think it's on it. It's not.
But I think it's like the same mold. Like you're
Yeah.
missing that second guy. You gotta like I don't know if they should trade Jalen Williams or what, but they gotta figure something out. Get someone else in there.
So my prediction the rest of the way, I'll go Nuggets. I want to say Warriors, but because I thought they looked really good last night, and I love we were talking about Pat Spencer last night on the phone, and talking about how much he needs more hype.
Yeah, dude. He's like the fucking white boy Bo Jackson. Like,
I didn't I
this is
didn't
our
know
hero.
he played at Northwestern. I didn't know that. I was not familiar with that.
He
But yeah,
played lacrosse at Loyola. I don't know if it was Loyola Chicago or
Maryland. It was the Maryland one. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna go Minnesota versus Denver in the finals, conference finals.
yeah, I think that's what I'll roll it to. I really like Minnesota. I think they're so good. Like I keep fucking bringing up DiVincenzo, but he's like their eighth man. Like
Yeah.
that's nuts, dude. Like they're deep. They have a real superstar, great defense. Like they don't shoot like shit. Like I think they got it.
I think I gotta roll with Jokic. I think Denver's gonna come out of the West, and hopefully my wallet's gonna get a little thicker because of it.
Jokic versus the Celtics would be a very, very interesting series.
I agree. I mean, we'll talk about it right now, but it would be interesting.
Porzingis is gonna be in pain, dude. Like Jokic backing him down for 7 games. Like
Yeah.
it's
Oh,
like
he might.
taking knees from fucking John Jones, dude.
I don't know if Porzingis is playing. I know he was hurt.
Everyone's hurt. That's how out of touch I am with the NBA.
So moving to the East, Cavs winning 4 against the Heat. The Heat were pretty embarrassing, losing by 55 in Game 4. Pacers Bucks was a good series, even though it was only went 5 games. Obviously, Dame tore his Achilles.
And obviously, Halliburton's dad tried to fight
Yeah,
Giannis.
that was something.
Team Morant type of moment.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I didn't even know that's what Halliburton's dad looked like. Really threw me for a loop.
Halliburton's like the most like mild mannered fucking guy too. So his
I know.
dad just like fighting Giannis, but
I
not really, but like just
like
altercations. So
talking
funny.
shit in Giannis's face as Giannis
Halliburton gets on the mic. He's like, I didn't even know my dad was gonna do that. I'm sorry.
like
Like,
my
dude,
pops
like the
was in the
nicest guy. He's gotta deal with this shit.
but yeah, I mean Giannis was a little boy, It was funny. I mean, this series made me realize how bad Kyle Kuzma is these days. It's like the fall from grace from his rookie year to now is insane. He's so bad. He's like infuriating to watch.
He got invited to the fucking Michael Rubin party and stopped practicing.
Yeah, for real. The fame got to his head, but yeah, I mean, I really like the Pacers. They're up to Cavs with a choke last night. I really like their role players. I really like Neesmith and Nemhard. Nemhard's becoming like one of my favorite players to watch in the NBA. And they have Benedict Mathurin off the bench, who's a good scorer. Like they're pretty good. Like I don't think they're gonna beat the winner of
They're
Boston.
frisky, dude.
Yeah, I don't. But like I could see them sneak like somehow ended up in the finals. Like their offense is that good. I
Yeah,
think.
I mean, honestly, like I could see it either way with Indiana. Like I think they're frisky for sure, but like I could see them losing the next 4 games, or I could see them like going on a run to the finals. I think there's wide range of outcomes for that team.
Yeah.
Just
Go
really
on.
depends because they don't have like a main like the guy scorer. So I feel like it's all
They're,
the parts got to come together.
yeah, it's probably like Siakam's their number one option, but they're all like like the whole starting five is consistently scoring like 15 to 20 points, I feel like. So, very interesting team. My favorite series, I think this is my favorite series of the first round for both leagues. Knicks Pistons went to 6. Pistons, I mean, each game was really competitive. We were talking about it before the playoffs, how I thought the Pistons had a chance. They're right there. I really like the Pistons, though. I think they have something. They're building a very nice basketball team.
They should go for Giannis too.
That would be interesting. I would like to see them go after Zion. I think that would be very interesting. But yeah,
You could probably get that done for a reasonable price too, like Ron Holland or Ivy plus picks.
I mean, bless you. They also did this without Ivy too, which was pretty impressive. But yeah, I'm very excited for the future of the Pistons. I'm a big Kate Cunningham fan, and I think they have some. I mean, if they didn't have Isaiah Stewart, like they'd be like a very fun watch. But just seeing him makes me mad. And then capping off the first round, Boston versus the Magic. Boston wins in 5. Just made me just kind of confirm what I already knew. Paolo and Franz are both very good, but the Magic need help. Like they needs like
They need a guard bad.
yeah, like I think they're in play for Kobe White this offseason. If the Bulls look to trade him, I think that would be interesting. If they did like Anthony Black and a first round pick for Kobe White or something like that, like pick 16, I think that would probably get it done. But yeah, I mean Boston's really good. Kind of just already knew that. I'm kind of surprised Orlando won a game, to be honest. But I think Tatum was hurt the game. Yeah, so going on to the second round, got our back to Cleveland. Cleveland down to right now to the Pacers. I think the Pacers probably get it done because I think Cleveland's way too banged up, and I don't
Yeah,
think.
like you'd think.
Yeah,
It's it's sad, but it's kind of what I saw coming for Cleveland. Maybe not against Indiana, but like it
yeah,
makes sense in
yeah.
hindsight, I guess.
I mean, yeah, I mean, the Pacers look really good. Halliburton's playing pretty well too. Like he's not like there was a point in time where he was like not scoring, but he's playing pretty well offensively, I would say. And I mean, Mitchell's doing anything he can. It's just they're too hurt right now. It's not gonna work. And like Ty Jerome is shooting 1 for 14 or something like that. So he's not getting any help.
Yeah, that one's kind of boring. So like crazy comeback, but the Cavs have just been awful so far. Can't really say much more. Donovan Mitchell's been fucking good, but he always is in the playoffs.
Yeah. Then Knicks Celtics, very exciting game one. Knicks came all the way back down 20, winning overtime, but Celtics shot 15 for 60 from three, so
Yeah.
they're probably not going to shoot that bad again.
Yeah, I like the Knicks, but like you win by 3 in overtime when the Celtics shot like a fucking eighth grade AAU team. Like, yeah, you're not in good shape there.
And Porzingis got hurt and didn't play like the whole game. It's
Yeah,
not, yeah. I would probably
it's not
say this.
looking good for Tibbs. Does Tibbs get fired? Like he's been there a minute now. They haven't done
Yeah,
shit.
I don't think so. I think there's probably like his seat gets a little warm just because they haven't gotten out of the second round and they put the pieces like they have a nice starting five. They made 2 trades this offseason or when did they get Bridges? Was that in the offseason or was that?
Yeah, I think so.
But yeah, and obviously Cat, but I don't know. They're just running into the Boston buzzsaw. They're playing 20 minutes.
It's because they didn't keep the Nova Knicks together, bro. Like Cat had a couple good games at the start of the season, but like, they need DiVincenzo. That's and Chris Jenkins too. They need to sign Chris Jenkins from fucking
Get
Istanbul or wherever he's
get
playing.
Jay Wright to come out of retirement and coach the team.
Yeah, no, for real.
But yeah,
Tibbs is like a
Boston.
good coach, but he's been around for a while now, doing the same thing. And he hasn't won. Like, I feel like if he gets fired, that might be it for him. He might be an assistant again.
Maybe I could see a team like
Maybe Washington needs a coach again
yeah, something like that.
every 2 years. So
But
they fucking kept Scott Brooks hostage for like a while, and
I,
then
I forgot
Randy Whitman,
he was there when they got Russ, right? Isn't that why they got Russ?
maybe.
Yeah, but Boston's I give New York maybe a game. Maybe they win a game in New York, but I would say Boston 5 or 6 for this series, and then probably the same result in the next round for whoever they play.
I'm going with Boston for sure. It'd be fun to see Indiana pull it off, but I
Yeah, I
don't
don't
think
see
they're
it.
there yet.
I don't see it. And then so I got Boston, Denver in the finals. I would probably just pick. I don't think anyone's beating Boston. I would probably go Boston. I think same result, probably like 6 games. I think Denver could get 2 out of them.
Yeah, and then I have Minnesota and Boston. I'm gonna go with Minnesota to win just for fun. We'll say 7 games. Edwards wins and starts talking shit. More
Yeah.
memeable content.
Does that put Edwards in like top 5 discussions or
In the NBA currently,
yeah,
he won a finals. Yeah, dude. I think he'd be like top 3. Would I rather have Shea, who wins the MVP in the regular season, or Anthony Edwards, who beats all these great players in the playoffs, like Anthony Edwards? I think like
like a Dirk type
fucking
run?
Jokic, Giannis, Edwards.
He's on that Dirk Mavs run. I was watching a video about that today. That run is insane. Like
Teams
he
he beat.
beat it was Portland in the first round with Brandon Roy and LaMarcus Aldridge.
Wet Kobe, and
Yeah.
then OKC. Yeah,
And then LeBron and D Wade and Bosh, obviously. So
that's probably the greatest run ever. The
yeah,
Kawhi run's up there, but like the competition level is just not.
yeah. And I like OKC wasn't healthy in the finals. KD was out. Steph was out.
Yeah, like if KD was playing, like they probably don't win that. It still took him 6 games, and KD played like fucking 20 minutes in the whole finals.
And then, yeah, Steph got hurt like right at the end.
Yeah, and Steph got hurt, and Klay Thompson tore his fucking ACL too.
Yeah, geez,
There's so much going on.
that's crazy. And they still, yeah, still going 6 games in that scenario is insane. All right, but yeah, that's a little NFL recap on the off season, and then NBA playoff recap and predictions. We'll be back in a little bit. We're gonna do a draft on number one picks, the best number one picks across all sports in history. So we're gonna do 5 rounds, pick each. We'll pick, give some feedback, and then yeah, see who had the best draft at the end. But we'll be back soon. Welcome back, everybody. Today we're back and we're gonna do the greatest number one pick in across all sports draft. We're gonna go 6 rounds, 6 picks for each of us. I'm gonna do a heads or tails, and Luch is gonna call it before I asked Siri to do it, and then we're gonna decide the order by that. So what do you want, heads or tails?
I'll take heads.
Hey Siri, heads or tails?
Tails.
Tails. So I won. I'm gonna pick first. So that means I'll go first. Luch will then have picks 2 or 3, and then we'll each pick two from then on there on out. All right. So all the number one picks in all the four major leagues. I thought this was pretty NBA heavy when I was doing my research. I have my list here, and I don't think I could take anyone but LeBron here with the first pick. I
Yeah,
mean,
I'm
he's
not surprised. I would have done the same thing.
probably the most hyped up number one pick of all time. Obviously, he's in the GOAT discussion. He is the all-time points leader. He's gonna be the leader in a lot more categories before he retires. Um, Obviously, heavily debated greatest player of all time. I think it's a no doubt number one pick.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of like who's gonna be the best player overall in their sport on this list, I think it's definitely LeBron. I think there's the aspect of like, do you want to draft it for like what the team that actually picked them got back for the pick, and then like maybe LeBron's not number one.
Yeah, it's a
But
good idea.
for me with my list, and I think you're going with the same thing. I'm just going with like how great they are in terms of their
Yeah.
sport. So I think LeBron's like pretty undebatable.
Yeah, it's a pretty interesting way to look at it though, because like obviously LeBron was great for he. How many rings did he win with the Cavs?
Only
He get
one.
just one, right? Yeah. Jeez. So yeah, I mean like the return on LeBron obviously not great. He was great as a player and carried the Cavs to a lot of finals, but only got him one ring. So it's an interesting way to look at it. I wasn't really thinking of it. I was kind of thinking of it how you were thinking of it, like best player. How their career ended up, not
Yeah.
particularly what they did with that team that drafted him.
All right. Well, I guess I'm up and I get two picks. So, um, I guess with my first round pick, I'll just go with A-Rod because I like him better. Think it's the best baseball number one pick, by
Yeah.
far.
He's up there
Um,
for sure.
I
I
think,
think there's a debatable one for MLB. We'll see. We'll talk about it. I'm sure. I'm
yeah,
sure I'll take him. But
Griffey's up there too. I just think like in terms of like who's the best player in their sport, like A-Rod's top five for me.
mhm,
So I have to go with him. One of my favorite players of all time. Obviously, it's kind of like LeBron. Like the return on investment for Seattle wasn't necessarily that great. Like he had a lot of
mhm,
amazing years there, but they didn't win anything. Didn't get his prime years either. But like just what he became, I think he's an obvious top two round pick here. And then my second guy, I'm going with Alex Ovechkin. Again, I think he's like a top five player in his sport. Just set the record for goals, which no one ever thought would be broken. The longevity's crazy. It's like honestly LeBron level. And he started what 2 years after LeBron, but he was drafted 1 year later.
I
So
think so,
he's
something like that.
20 years now. Yeah, top five player of all time. Yeah, I'm really happy with those two picks.
Yeah, I like those. I think with my next pick, I'm gonna challenge that Ovechkin. I think I'm gonna take Sidney Crosby. I think he's as a player is probably better than Ovechkin. Ovechkin's obviously the better goal scorer, but as an overall player, Crosby's definitely up there. He's got 3 Stanley Cups. We're talking about the longevity. He was in that '05 draft, so he was 2 years after LeBron. So like this is his 20th season. I think Ovechkin was the year after Crosby. I think he was '06 maybe. So they're both
I
like,
think Ovechkin was 04, but his was like the lockout year. So then
okay.
Crosby got drafted and they were both rookies the same
That
year.
makes sense. That makes sense. So they've kind of been in the NHL together for their whole career. I just think Crosby has had more success, and if you asked like, a, I don't, I think both of us are pretty casual NHL fans. So if you ask someone who's like a diehard NHL fan, I think personally they would probably have Crosby over Ovechkin. But obviously both.
Yeah, I
And
mean, I had the opposite opinion. That's kind of why I went with Ovechkin because, I mean, I think there's three guys with the NHL that you could like reasonably go with in this draft. Especially early on. Like I think they're all think very early picks in this draft.
Mhm.
But I went with Ovechkin just because I feel like the tides kind of turned. Like I think Crosby was always seen as better, but what Ovechkin's done like in his later years, like Crosby's still good, but he's not like at what he was. Ovechkin is
Yeah.
still putting up 40, 50 goal seasons at 4 years old. So
Yeah, I
that
think
was my feel for it. Maybe
yeah.
I'm wrong because I'm not so tapped in the hockey world, but like I think we were going for the same thing here. We just had
Yeah.
different
We just
takeaways.
had, yeah, different ideologies on it. For my next pick, I'm gonna dip into the NFL. I'm gonna take Peyton Manning here. Um, Arguably the second best quarterback of all time. We'll see what Mahomes ends up doing with his career. He's definitely on pace to potentially be the best quarterback ever. But Payne getting two Super Bowls, obviously he was in the shadow of Tom Brady throughout his career, but unreal talent. Obviously had that rough rookie season, but he's a Hall of Famer for a reason, and I think people make the argument that he's more talented than Brady a lot, but I think there's a lot of quarterbacks that people make that argument for, like Rodgers is one, especially too. Um, but yeah, I think Peyton Manning is probably the best number one pick in the entirety of the NFL.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. The NFL number one picks aren't that great, honestly.
Yeah, no, like I said, like NBA is kind of like the focal point. Like MLB is hard because like I feel like the first pick rarely is the best player from that draft. Like there's always like guys picked throughout the first round or even later and like the mid rounds. Like obviously it used to be 40 rounds, so there were so many shots at players, but um yeah, NFL and MLB were probably the two leagues I had the toughest time finding players for.
Yeah, I agree for sure.
Um yeah, so Crosby and Peyton Manning there for me.
For me, I think here I gotta go with Kareem. I want to go with Tim Duncan because I'd have him higher on like my personal list, but I think like when you're just like be trying to be objective, like Kareem just has more on his resume. So I think I'll go with Kareem there. I'm not like super thrilled about it, but I think it's just like a logical pick to make. And then I'm kind of stuck between Tim Duncan and Mario Lemieux here. I don't expect the other one to get back to me, so I'm just gonna openly say it because I expect you to pick whoever I don't take. I think I'm gonna go with Lemieux. Maybe just for fun because I'm not super tapped into hockey. It's a little more fun than Tim Duncan, but I mean he's putting up 200 point seasons in the 80s. Only guy that could fucking sniff Gretzky's jockstrap. So
Yeah.
I
I
think
wasn't
it's a
I
worthy
wasn't
pick.
too familiar with Lemieux up until like a few years ago, honestly. Um, but like going back and like watching highlights of him and hearing people talk about how good he was, I never knew there was someone like that even came close to Cross or I said Cross
Right. Yeah.
fucking Gretzky. I mean like people in the like this day and age think McDavid's on his way to like being better than Gretzky. Like we'll see if that actually happens. He's got to win some cups first. But Lemieux is definitely he was on my board for sure. Like I said, NHL. I only had six names on there. He was definitely one of them. So yeah, I like the pick. Okay, okay. And sorry, I forgot to touch on Kareem, but obviously like no brainer there. I probably have him. I think there's someone because like I have Tim Duncan on my board as well, but I think I'm gonna take Magic over Tim Duncan.
Oh, yeah, I totally forgot about Magic. That's where the lack of prep gets me. I probably
Yeah,
still would have took Kareem, but yeah, no, I didn't. I wouldn't have taken Magic at all. And like that was just free money for you. You could have waited. I
yeah.
totally forgot.
I just thought you thought Tim Duncan was better than Magic. Yeah, no, Magic obviously like him and Bird, that rivalry revolutionized basketball, and yeah, like Curry's making the case to be the greatest point guard of all time, but Magic's definitely it's like a 1A, 1B situation. So
Hmm.
obviously, if you're the considered widely considered the best at your position, I'm gonna take you as one of the best first overall picks. So that's what I'm going with. That's my fourth pick. My fifth pick. Uh, I was actually debating Lemieux. Um, I'll take Griffey. I
Okay.
think he's one of my like going back and watching. He's just a fun watch. Such a sweet swing. Like obviously when he got injured, like we're both MLB like the show fans. So like when he got introduced back in 17 when he was on the cover and stuff, that was pretty cool. So yeah, he's always got like the hype around him. He's like obviously injuries derailed his career a bit. But he's definitely a lot of people's favorite player. A-Rod might be considered the better player overall, but I think Griffey's impact on the game and just like the overall popularity of the game like has more significance than A-Rod's career.
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah.
I think I'll just go with Tim Duncan.
Yeah.
Um, I don't think I need to overthink that one too much. He's got a bunch of rings, MVPs, like played for the team that drafted him his whole career, so like that layer, like that checks that box too. Yeah, I think Tim Duncan at this stage is like a no-brainer.
Good value pick.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
no, definitely like
Kind of like Luther Burden in the second round by Ryan Poles.
Tim Duncan definitely probably the most underrated player of all time. Like I see a lot of like new age NBA fans like hating on Tim Duncan because they think it was just like some because people don't post up anymore, so people don't respect like a good post game. But like Tim Duncan was so dominant, like even on both sides of the court, really. Um, yeah, I mean, I just my favorite Tim Duncan story is like or like what if he went to Orlando uh
Yeah, that's
with
really interesting.
with Grant Hill.
Could be a good future draft. Biggest what ifs.
What a yeah, that would definitely be on there for me. Just imagine if Doc Rivers led his family onto the team plane.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that would have been probably the first big three, right? Tim Duncan, T Mac, and Grant Hill.
Yeah, I mean, Grant Hill wouldn't have fucking played any games, but T-Mac and Tim Duncan would have been good enough.
In
It's like
theory, it
probably better
would.
than Shaq and Kobe. Nah, I
But yeah,
mean, maybe not, but
I like that
close.
pick. Big fan of Tim Duncan as a player and his career. But yeah, that's a good value there. And was this fourth round? Is that your fourth pick?
I think that was my fifth pick because I
Yes,
went
yes. That was your fifth.
Ovechkin, A-Rod, um, Lemieux, Kareem, and now Duncan. And so then the last one's kind of tough. Um, there's Shaq, Chipper Jones, Hakeem, um, Elway. I'm not picking Elway though. I think Elway's kind of overrated. Um,
Yeah, I think. I mean, the Elway finished with two rings.
yeah.
Yeah,
Bruce Smith definitely an option. Definitely like with NFL, I feel like you gotta like you can't just do like greatest player because it'd just be all fucking quarterbacks. Like
yeah,
greatest defensive player, like I feel like Bruce Smith's like consensus top five.
yeah.
So I feel like that's like a little underrated like value one because like Shaq's probably top 10, 12. Same with like Hakeem, but Bruce Smith might have a little more value if you like warp your mind a little bit and convince yourself. See, I'm gonna go with that. I'll go with Bruce Smith with my sixth pick.
I like that. He was he was one of
All-time sack leader. Let's do it.
yeah, good pick. Like you said, widely considered like a top five all time defensive player. Um, Obviously Lawrence Taylor's probably most people's number one there, but Bruce Smith, considering the like lack of depth in the NFL, number one overall picks, he's definitely
Yeah, I mean, I feel like when you're talking about defensive players, it's like LT, Dion, Ray Lewis, and then like Bruce Smith might be the next guy up. So
yeah. Then there's guys like yeah, like Reggie White, like those types of
yeah,
guys. He's kind of
yeah. I mean, look, it's like kind of take your pick because they're all really great, but
yeah,
he's definitely in the mix there.
yeah. I agree. Um,
He's the only one that went first, so
yeah, that's true. Yeah, like the NFL, like my list was we can kind of go into like what picks didn't get picked after this, but my final pick, I think so I'm between I don't want to be too NBA heavy, but I think I'll probably have to go with Shaq. Um, I mean, people consider him the most dominant player of all time. He was just a sheer like tank, force of nature. Um, Obviously when he was in shape, those Lakers Shaq years, the Magic Shaq years, unstoppable. I think like what kind of derails him was like how bad he was towards the end of his career when he was playing for like the Celtics, the Suns, the Cavs, all those teams. But um, definitely in top the top three center conversation. He's probably a top 10 player of all time. So yeah, I think I'll round my draft off with Shaq. Three NBA players is not where I wanted to go, but there's just so many of them. I had to take it from there. I was between Shaq and Chipper Jones there. It was what was the
yeah.
debate. But yeah, those are our drafts. So I took LeBron. I forgot. Oh, Peyton, Griffey, Magic, Shaq, and
Crosby.
Crosby.
Yeah, and then I went with A-Rod, Ovechkin, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Mario Lemieux, um, Tim Duncan, and Bruce Smith. Yeah, that's who I went. We should start writing this shit down though. We need
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
visuals.
Or like take note of it. That's my bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are our drafts. Some
Next
guys that got
draft.
left off for me.
Next draft will have graphics.
Yeah.
Lab up.
Yeah, we just need to lock in. Next, so like some of the names that didn't get picked for me on my list. I for NFL I had Elway and Luck. I just think Luck was like the most hyped up number one pick in my lifetime. So I like him retiring early and like seeing how much he did in some like few years was pretty cool. Um, did you have any other names for NFL or is that pretty much your list as well?
NFL, could mention like Orlando Pace, like maybe the
Yeah,
greatest O lineman of all time.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, it gets tough, like, cause there's a lot of great ones. Like there's like fun ones too. Like if you want to just like have an angle about it, like Bo Jackson. Like if you want to say
yeah,
like impact on sports, like shit like
yeah.
that.
That's true. I didn't even think about Bo Jackson. That would be a good pick. Sixth round. Take a
Yeah, a
flyer on
little
Bo
wild card for some TikTok views.
Yeah. Yeah, so NFL was kind of lackluster with the number one overall pick. NBA was like we keep saying, like we mentioned a few names that didn't get picked, like Hakeem. I wrote down AI, Anthony Davis, Patrick Ewing, Oscar Robertson, Bill Walton, David Robinson. Those are just a few names that didn't get picked.
Yeah. Could also
So
mention Kwame Brown,
yeah, of course. Kwame Brown, Derrick Rose, honorable mention, youngest,
Anthony Bennett,
youngest, youngest MVP of all time. Another what if.
Markel
Um,
Fultz too.
yeah, I mean,
A lot of good NBA options.
yeah, MLB. I feel like we mentioned most of them. The biggest one or the biggest two. We mentioned Chipper Jones a lot. Joe Mauer was another one that I wrote down. Harper was another one I wrote down. I thought was interesting. Obviously, like he's
Yeah,
been
it's
a
like another angle one.
he's been like
Like if
such
our fan base turns out to be all baseball fans, like Bryce Harper would have appeared in the sixth round.
like Harper, like I can't believe they won a ring as soon as they traded him from Washington
No, well, they
or
got the better
left. He
version. They got
left.
the better version of him, fucking Juan Soto somehow,
Yeah.
and traded him away. But anyways,
And
now
then
they got the new version, James Wood. Just
yeah,
keep
beast
fucking respawning in Washington, but they only got 6 years and they go
popping up
away.
in right field.
Yeah,
NHL, we took the big three with Crosby, Ovi, and Lemieux. I
yeah,
wrote down Patrick Kane. Uh, People consider him the best U.S. hockey player of all time, so thought he was an interesting option. I wrote Nate McKinnon. He's like another up and coming guy. McDavid, obviously, and then I wrote Stamkos. That
yeah.
was
Those are
great.
all interesting for sure.
Yeah,
When I was like prepping for this, I saw Joe Thornton mentioned. I
yeah,
thought that was kind of weird, but like he does have an MVP, so
yeah. He's
another
like also
interesting
like
one.
a longevity guy. Like he just retired a few years ago and he got drafted in '98 or something like that. So
Right, yeah.
definitely an interesting pick.
Also, Marc-Andre Fleury. I don't,
Uh,
again, not tapped
yeah,
in with hockey, but I saw him mentioned.
yeah.
I was
I saw him.
looking at
I saw
this.
him as well. He just retired this year. So another crazy one.
Blackhawks legend.
Yeah, what was it, half a season. Um, but yeah, that's our draft. That's it for this episode. Let us know who you thought had the better draft in the comments. We'll be back next week. We'll probably be talking more NBA playoffs, some MLB updates most likely. And yeah, probably have either another draft or another Sporkle for you as well at the end of the episode. Thanks for watching, guys. Like and subscribe. Follow us on Twitter and TikTok. We're gonna start posting shit on TikTok. So, yeah, thanks for watching. Tune in next time. See you later.